Our tour of Chuckanut Drive continues. We head south, our elevation drops, and we reach Samish Bay, the home of some of the best farmland in the region, and this crop is only visible during low tide. This is anything but farmland.
Yeah, to get there you got to go through Oyster Creek.
Oh geez, okay.
Out to our beds. And they're only exposed at low tide, so we had to time this just right for the low tide.
Right. Well, this certainly doesn't look like normal farmland. I mean, it looks like the ocean. How do you acquire this?
Well, it's a different kind of farmland. These are tide lands. That's where our farm's located. And it started back in the 1800s. So the state legislature, right after statehood, was some of the first laws they passed were oyster laws. They took all the productive oyster lands, set them aside and called them state oyster reserves. And then they sold barren lands to people who wanted to try to grow oysters to bring those oysters back. So it's what they call Bush Act land, passed in 1895.
Wow, 1895, that was quite the forward thinking.
It was,
of them, wasn't it?
It always amazes me, you know, that, I mean, it was a great plan because it worked really well.
Right.
I mean, it stimulated a vibrant industry. It's at the heart of why Washington State is the leading producer of farm shellfish in the country today.
How do you know when they're ready to harvest?
Well, it's the size. With these shigokus and all the oysters, you're trying to get to a certain size. By the way, if you start to fall, don't be afraid to reach out. If you start to get stuck, bend your knees and rock your heel out to break the suction. So just roll forward and a little bit muddier out here.
This oyster farming is hard work. Now, what are these?
This is a different kind of culture system we use for growing small single oysters that are going to be eaten raw and half shell. This is this flip bag system that rolls as the tide comes and goes. The bag goes up and down, and as it does, it rubs all the frilliness off the shell of the oyster. So
look at that.
I brought this oyster in from the long lines. That's what they normally look like, but because they're rolling up and down with the tide, you can see all the flutes are gone.
And what are these called again?
So we call these our shigoku, which in Japanese means the ultimate, for a good reason.
If this is a farm and this is the crop, where are the seeds?
Well, the seed, it all starts in our hatchery, where we take the adults in there, condition them, spawn them, rear the babies, and the baby oyster is actually attached to an old oyster shell. So you can see the oysters, all the seed oysters attached to that shell. All those brown specks are baby oysters.
Baby oysters.
Baby oysters.
Okay.
And then that shell has been strung into this, in here is a 3-strand braided rope. They twist open the braid of the rope and they put the shell into the rope, let it close on the shell.
Interesting.
And then all of these little baby oysters grow into these.
So these are multiple oysters?
These are multiple oysters. These are clusters of multiple oysters. So
can you show me
we
one?
can open one up here.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what's inside all of these shells.
And someone could actually just eat this right now,
Absolutely.
right?
I can show you how it's done if you want.
Yeah, why don't you show me?
Got to get them cut loose from the shell. Make sure they slide off. And just down the hatch. A little bit of shell there. That's the shucker's fault.
All right, I think I need to try one.
You ready?
Yeah.
So let me get it cut loose from the shell.
I've never had one before.
Well,
raw.
There's no time like the present.
Okay,
Dan.
do you chew it or
Well,
do you just?
You just bite it once to kill it.
Are you serious?
Well, it's alive. These are alive animals out here. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you should chew it. You get the full flavor. Absolutely.
Don't have any cocktail sauce or lemon?
No, this is a real McCoy.
All right.
Our first raw oyster. Look at that. Not too bad.
It's very salty.
Very salty. Well, it's
delicious.
It's drinking salt water.
Mmm. My first oyster.
Good for you.
Thanks, Bill.
High five. Nice going.
So the tide will be coming in here, right?
Yep, it's chasing
this
us
will
up the
be
beach
all
here. This will be underwater.
underwater in a matter of an hour, you think,
yeah,
too?
probably an hour. This will be under. You know, and then this evening it'll be under 4 or 5 feet of water up here.
Taylor Shellfish has quite a rich history at this location, right?
Well, the Taylor family's been here since 1991, but they've been growing shellfish in Puget Sound since 1890. So they're 5th generation. This farm has been an active farm. It had been an active farm for 70 years when they bought it. So a long history here growing oysters in Samish Bay, and Taylors are continuing that legacy.
Well, I was going to ask you about sustainability, but I really don't have to, do I?
That's pretty much a statement in itself there,
Right.
you know. And shellfish farming is great. You know, we produce our seed, plant it, and harvest it. It's all put and take, put and take. It's not like a wild fishery where you're continuing to take. So it's a very sustainable activity, and you're raising filter feeders that are actually cleaning the water.
And you guys have a lot of great events, and the store is. Talk about what actually happens here.
Yeah, so this is the retail store. This is, you know, you've seen where we grow the product out in the bay. This is where we sell it. It's open 7 days a week, and it's a great destination. We've got picnic tables. A lot of people come down and light up the barbecues out here and cook the shellfish right on the beach here. So we have an event every year. It's called the Samish Bay Bivalve Bash and Low Tide Mud Run. And it's usually in July every year on a low tide, obviously, and a lot of fun, but part of that is oyster shell sculpture competition. And that oyster shell lighthouse is built by a couple of world-class sandcastle builders that came and competed one year. So.
It really creates a great atmosphere out on the dock here, and you can just grab your oysters, shellfish, go out and cook them out there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't get them any fresher than that.
That's
You know,
true.
out of the bay, to the store, and to the barbecue.